All right, welcome to the Explainer. Today, we are going to break down this really powerful idea about freedom, creativity, and purpose. And it all comes from the Hustler's 10-minute a day challenge. And, it kicks off with this kind of surprising take on what an ending really is. So let's get right into the heart of it. The whole mindset here is about totally reframing what feels like a finish line. It's not the end. It's never the end. It's the starting line for the next journey, the one where you're calling the shots. Okay, so that idea of a new journey leads us right into our first big topic. And it's a heavy one, but it's so important. The clock is ticking. We're talking about how a real sense of urgency, even thinking about mortality, can just completely flip how we see the time we've got. I love this metaphor he uses. Think about a really gloomy, cloudy day, right? The sun didn't just disappear. It's still up there. It's just being blocked by the clouds. And that's exactly like our own potential. You might feel blocked, you might feel stuck, but that doesn't mean your fire is gone. You're still there. And then to really drive this home, you just have to look at the world around us. You open up a news tab and boom, you see these tragic headlines. Stories of lives ending way too soon. It's just this brutal, in-your-face reminder that, tomorrow is not a promise. And that's the whole point, right? It forces you to ask yourself a really tough question. When that clock is ticking, what are you going to leave behind? What are you doing with the time you have left? It really makes you think. So what happens when this idea really sinks in? Well, a lot of the time, that sudden, almost shocking realization, that's the spark. That's what actually triggers some massive, profound change. There's this fantastic movie reference here, Joe versus the volcano. You've got this guy, Joe, living this awful, boring, gray life. He hates his job, everything's a drag. Then a doctor tells him he only has a few months to live. And just like that, a light bulb goes off. He gets it. Time is limited. So what does he do? He goes on this wild adventure, looking for real experiences, real meaning. And that really is the key takeaway. It's not comfort that pushes us to change. It's the opposite. It's realizing our own mortality. That's the light bulb that comfort will never, ever give you. It's what wakes you up. Okay, so we've talked about mortality and purpose. How in the world does this connect to online marketing and creativity? Well, this is where it gets really interesting. Let's talk about the freedom to explore. The source calls out this one-trick pony mindset you see everywhere. Mentors who only teach their one specific way of doing things. It just kills creativity. It's like being in a really predictable, boring relationship. You forget there are other ways to live, other things to try. The whole idea here is that real freedom comes from having a wide field of view, from exploring. And he doesn't just talk about it, he does it. Right in the middle of everything, he sees a sponsored ad for this new AI tool and just clicks on it. He starts exploring it live. That's what he's talking about. Not just sticking to what you know, but actively discovering what's out there. But as he's checking out the pricing, he hits a wall. And it's something that drives a lot of creators crazy. The whole system is based on credits. You pay for a certain number of actions, and every video you make eats up those credits. It just immediately feels limiting. And this leads to a pretty blunt statement. Credits are one of the words that I've learned to hate. And you can see why, right? It's a trap. It goes completely against that idea of freedom we've been talking about. How can you truly explore and experiment if you're constantly worried about running out of credits? Okay, so this whole thing with the credits, it's not just about pricing. It opens up a much bigger, much more important idea. It's about how we should think about the technology we use, especially AI. It's the difference between a tool and a servant. This is the core concept right here. On one side, you have the servant. This is the AI that does everything for you. It completely automates the process. And yeah, that sounds nice, but it makes you mentally lazy. On the other side, you have the tool. A tool assists you. It hands you the hammer and nails, but you're still the one building the house. It empowers you. It doesn't replace you. And this is such a great point because it completely blows up the whole automation fantasy that everyone's chasing, the dream of having everything done for you. So he asks this killer question. Okay, fine. Let's say you get it. You have all this free time. What are you going to do with it? Because let's be real, the reality is that freedom without purpose, that's not freedom at all. It's a prison inside your own head. You just end up bored, restless, and feeling totally unfulfilled. An idle mind with nothing to build is a dangerous thing. So if the goal isn't just to sit around and do nothing, what is the purpose of freedom? Well, let's look at a practical workflow that actually puts this idea into action. Okay, so check this out. The process he prefers is super active. First, you use a tool to generate a ton of images, like 50 or 60 of them. Then, you bring those assets into an editor. You become the director. You're picking the best scenes, cutting them into little clips, and then piecing it all together. You're in charge, making creative calls every step of the way. And that's the whole shebang right there. The fun isn't just having the finished video. The fun is building it. That's where the purpose is. The act of creation is the reward. So all of this, it all boils down to one final, very practical decision. It's about how you choose to invest in your own creative process, how you choose to own your creativity. And this chart just lays it all out perfectly. You've got the renting model over here, monthly subscriptions, those credits we hate, you're constantly paying just to play. Then you have the ownership model. You pay one time, you can create unlimited stuff, and you have it for life. It's really that simple. Are you renting a servant, or are you owning a tool? And that's what we're left with. This is the big question for all of us right now. What does true freedom actually mean? Is it having everything done for you? Or is it having the unlimited power to do it yourself? To build something that is 100% yours? Something to think about.
Yeah, hustle bear in the building.
Adrenaline truth, this that run up the hill grind. Pressure make diamonds, I've been cutting through the steel line. Dreams don't chase, you better get it while the will grind. Legacy's a blueprint, I've been building on the real time. If fear's in the room, I'm the one to make it goes quick. Faith in my chest, watch me load it like a full clip. Haters catch the wave or get washed in emotion. Action over doubt, that's the hustle bear doctrine. I've been running through the noise with a fire in my lungs. Every setback was a lesson, now I'm speaking in tongues. From the bottom to the summit, all I needed was a spark. Now my pain got a purpose, see the light in the dark. Ay, motion over madness, that's the code that I keep. Every dream need a soldier, I ain't losing no sleep. Put the doubts in the dirt, plant the faith like a seed. If you want it, go and get it, that's the hustler's creed. I woke up with a mission like the rent due on my oxygen. Purpose in my pocket, every loss became a document. I'm calibrated differently, my hustle got a doctorate. Turn my fears to employees, got them working on my confidence. Life hit me with storms, but I learned how to monetize the rain. Pain became a passport, now I travel through the strain. People love excuses, cause excuses never change. But action pay the bills, that's the truth inside the game. Had to cut some ties, their weight don't climb. If your circle ain't moving, then you running out of time. I ain't waiting on a sign, I was born to be a beacon. Hunger ain't a mindset, it's a language I speak in. Every day is overtime, I ain't got no halftime. Walking with a lion heart, built it from the bad times. Legacy's a contract, God signed the bottom. Now I hustle like the devil, never wanted me to blossom. I done fought my own shadows, had to box with my doubts. Took the quiet route to freedom, now my voice too loud. You can measure a man's truth by the storms he survives. I took every closed door as a gem for my mind. Pressure got a flavor, I've been learning how to taste it. Fear is just a wire that your courage gotta break with. This grind ain't pretty, it's sweat, grit, pavement. But comfort is a prison and dreams don't do arrangements. I came from the trenches of excuses and delay. Now discipline the engine, keep me pushing through the day. I ain't working for the moment, I'm investing in a name. When your legacy the mission, every step becomes a flame. People talk potential like it's somehow gonna save them, but potential's just a debt, action's how you gotta pay it. Success ain't in the future, it's a choice in the now. And if you waiting on approval, you ain't ready for the crown. I've been running through the pain like a treadmill on fire. See the ashes of my doubts, that's the proof I'm getting higher. Every note became a hammer, built a kingdom out of trials. Faith drove the steering wheel while hustle held the tires. Ain't no elevator up, just the stairs of intention. Gotta climb with conviction, every step is a lesson. The grind is a mirror, what you see is a reflection. If you lazy with your actions, you gon' struggle with direction. Had nights where I cried, but the tears paid dues. Had fights with my pride, but the growth came through. Every scar got a purpose, every bruise got a clue. If you scared of the fall, you ain't ready for the view. I'm a soldier for the dream, that's the hope that I keep. Motivation ain't a moment, it's a promise you repeat. If you walking with excuses, you ain't walking with me. And if you want another level, you should hustle like a beast. I've been running through the noise with a fire in my lungs. Every setback was a lesson, now I'm speaking in tongues. From the bottom to the summit, all I needed was a spark. Now my pain got a purpose, see the light in the dark. Hey, motion over madness, that's the code that I keep. Every dream need a soldier, I ain't losing no sleep. Put the doubts in the dirt, plant the faith like a seed. If you want it, go and get it, that's the hustler's creed.
To be honest, I'm comfortable being who I am, not pressed to fit in, not worried about going out partying, not worried about having a lot of friends, just being me, staying out the way, staying in my own lane, and just doing what works for me.
Pens move fast. Love stay still. This ain't a tendon. These rooms remember things I don't say. Hold my breath when I walk away. Walls stay still, but they know my weight. Every step keeps a record of pain.
I give you food for action, don't choke on the truth. This lesson I prepared was made just for you. Feast up, I'll keep serving till the pot run dry. Got enough cooking to feed the whole country, no lie. Too many flavors, you know, I got what you like. Don't start beefing with me, you won't win this fight. If you come in peace, keep your teeth intact. I got a plan to get this cake, come grab a stack. Life could be sweet, if you listen you'll see. Food for action on a platter, served fresh by me. I'm serving knowledge on plates, got the recipe down. A blend of hustle and wisdom, that's my sound. I'm feeding the masses, no crumbs, full course. But if you bring nothing to the table, find the door. Stop acting like you got beef, it won't taste right. This flavor's reserved for those ready.
Okay, family, we are live. We are live. And once again, I want to welcome you guys back to another episode of the Hustlers 10-Minute a Day Challenge. Today is strong 40, day 1, and we are right at 14 minutes into today's challenge. And today is going to be one of those, expectedly weird days. So I hate always coming to you guys or kind of, coming to you guys regularly talking about the tech issues, right? When it comes to Facebook specifically. So, of course, this morning we had one of those issues again. I had to copy the link for the live, paste it into the particular post so that the live actually shows streaming. That's okay. Now, the weather outside right now, it's raining and it's expected to get a lot worse. They're calling for possible tornado-like weather. They're also calling for possible hail, not snow, but hail, the size of 1 inch. Now, we haven't seen anything like this in a long time, and It's funny when I talk to some people, there's conspiracy theorists and all kinds of people, and of course, one of the conspiracies is that somebody's controlling the weather. Well, I don't know if that's true or not. Do I believe in that kind of stuff? Eh, it could be true, but what are you going to do about it, right? Until you find out if it's true or not, there's nothing that you really can do about it. And then even when you find out that possibly it is true, there's still not too much that you can do about it. The way of the world, technology, the way things are changing and moving so rapidly, when I think about AI and all of its capabilities, it makes me think that, you know, somebody could be using good old chat GPT to really learn how to manipulate the weather. Now, of course, I'm already familiar with the concept of HARP and the HARP machines and things like that, and being able to control the weather, cause storms, cause rising tides in the ocean, and things like that, right? So that's been around for decades. The idea and the thoughts of people using that possibly to control the weather. Interesting. Now, today, you know, certain section of the United States is preparing for what they believe would be, high winds, destructive winds, things that'll interrupt the technology that might actually knock out the power. So I'm kind of glad that we get the Hustlers 10-minute a day challenge started so early because it's 9 a.m. EST time, and the real bad weather is scheduled to start around 2 p.m. So we got time. At least it didn't occur earlier. At least it didn't knock out the power, possibly, like it's people are expecting it to later on. At least we have what we have so that we can make do with what we have to make do with, right? So it makes me think about this strong week that we're about to get into. This is only day one. But on day one, I want to make a couple of things clear. I want to set the stage for what the future is going to look like. Now, I don't want to talk about bad weather because I don't think that in our particular future, in the Hustlers 10-minute a day challenge, in the hustle verse, I don't expect there to be a lot of bad weather. I understand that it could be. Bad weather could come in many forms. It's not just the storms outside. It could be technical issues, as we speak of often. It could be, you know, lack of community, lack of, consistency when it comes to building a community, lack of engagement. Those can be different types of storms, but that's okay. Those are the type of storms and weather that I'm willing and I'm prepared to deal with. Now, I told you guys recently that I started a new Facebook page, and it was basically because, the Facebook page that I currently have with over 4K followers, I found that that might not be my target audience. There might just be people that just wanted to add me as friends or connect with me for whatever purposes they wanted to. Maybe it was just for vanity purposes, for vanity numbers. But those people, a good majority of them, let's say 99% of them, don't engage. They basically see the content and they scroll by. But whatever it is, that's it's just like the weather. Can't control that. It is what it is. But what I can control is whether or not I open my blinds and I look at the bad weather, whether I let it affect me to the point where, you know, it changes my mood, or whether let it affect me to the point that, either I can stay inside and stay dry from the rain, or if I choose to go outside in the rain and get wet, that's a decision that I can make too. And it's kind of like dealing with a situation where you have rain, or you have followers that you think will start pouring down on you, right? So to speak. You get a massive amount of followers, and you think that they're just going to trickle their engagement on you, that they're going to follow you, that they're going to want to be part of what it is that you have going on. And that's not the case. So I decided to start off with a clear day. Start off on a new Facebook page profile that looks a little brighter. That's more of a sunny day. Yeah, it's not too bright. The sun isn't beaming. It's not the nicest of weather. And what I mean by that is starting from zero is not always easy. You want the downpour of followers. You want people to come into play and start to automatically, instantly follow you and start showering you with that engagement. But it doesn't happen like that. It takes time, it takes effort, it takes you being ever present. So that's something that I'm willing and prepared to do. Now, what I'm also willing and prepared to do is to make some adjustments. Now, I'm a little petty. You guys might know this already, but I'm a little petty. And I've been resisting my pettiness for a while. That's a little, you know, dual-sided. Sometimes you want to be petty, sometimes you don't, and you hold off on it. But I think I'm gonna start being a little bit more petty. I'm gonna embrace my inner petty, my natural state, right? And I'm gonna do some things to change the weather. I'm going to affect my own personal weather, my own personal environment. So here's what I'm going to do. And I want to be clear, and I want to let everybody know so that they understand what's going on. So on my old profile page, I'm going to take some time to evaluate people that's there and see if they really are my target audience, to see if they are really people that came to see me or that just view me as a number. Like attention. I like attention, especially when I feel as though the content and the things that I produce is of great value. Now, if I was producing some bullshit, then I expect people to scroll and not engage. But once again, I'm petty. I consider the things that I produce to be of high quality and high value, and I want it to be treated that way. But I also understand logically that the algorithm and people's mentality is predictable. You will never get 100% of anything to go in your favor. And the numbers in the industry are so crazy, so you can't really say bad because it's average. It's what to be expected. 1 to 5% or so engagement rates. That's considered great. But me personally, I don't like those type of numbers. It doesn't sit well with me. 1% engagement, you know, that's kind of like saying, hey, I have the cure for something, and it has a 1% chance of curing you. Are you going to take that particular treatment? Are you going to take that prescription? Are you going to be confident in that prescription that, hey, this is actually going to heal you? No, you're not going to believe it. You're looking for something that's more like 90%. There's a 90% chance that This is going to cure you. And even with 90%, a lot of people say, hey, when it comes to medicine, 90%, that's great. But still, what about that other 10%? What if I fall into that 10% category where it doesn't help me? See, that's the kind of mindset that I have when it comes to online and, being ever present and having engagement and building an audience of like minded people. I know I'm applying it to a whole different beast. Online content is not like the medical industry where you're looking for a cure and you expect to have the high percentage. It's quite the opposite. It's people online promising things that they can't offer, that they really don't have the power to control for the most part. The majority of people online are promising you that they can help you earn an income from home, and the majority of those people cannot do that. But everyday people fall into their storm, their particular storm. They're putting a downpour of information out there telling you that they can do this, that, and the third, whereas they can't. So me myself, I don't like to engage with things like that. If you see my content, I don't talk about how I can help you earn or make six figures or seven figures and things like that, because I know for the most part, that's something that I can't guarantee. What I can guarantee is that I can create an environment that allows you to be creative, that allows you to do things unlike what's being done in most places online. I don't try to fill your head with so much fluff and, pointless inspiration that leads you to nowhere, starting all over again the next day, the day after. What I try to lead you to is information, tools, and skills that you can actually use. Now, I know you get trapped in your emotions and you say to yourself, well, I want to make money. I want to make money and I want to be attracted and follow somebody that can promise me that I can make money. Well, it makes me think about one of the sayings that my dad has. He says that you can't sell me a dream because I could get that for free. And that's how I look at things. My mentality is a little bit different from what I see the average person having. People will follow the noise. They will follow the crowd of people that say, hey, it's so great over here. We're making so much money. We're able to do this, that, and the third. And, you know, you can too. And I'm looking at it and I'm saying to myself, well, I know that's not true because I know you. I know your situation. I know that you're not living that life. And from where I'm from, they call that faking the funk. They call that not being real. And that's something that I can't do. All I could do is be real. Where I grew up, you had to be real. If you wasn't real, then you got treated a certain way. You got looked at a certain way. So I want to give you what's real. And that's why I always say re- repeatedly, I tell you guys about this document right here, the Hustler's 10 Minute a Day Challenge document. The document that I say is the most valuable document in all of online marketing because it doesn't promise anything about riches. What it does is it delivers something that you can actually feel and that you can actually do. And once when you start doing it, you get the result that it lays out, that it promises. It promises that you get access to one of my personal tools, my personal GPT, and that GPT will give you answers to questions that you have. And it will produce content for you based on the challenge that we have and even beyond that. So what I actually provide to you is something that goes beyond what I'm actually offering. So I'm just telling you the minimal of what we have the capability of doing, right? And then I also give you access to what I call the affiliate marketing commentator. Now, everybody wants to be able to engage with their audience, speak to their ideal client in a specific way to get them to possibly move, to possibly take action on whatever it is that you're offering, and to build that engagement, to build that know, like, and trust. And I give you that right here. This document here delivers exactly what it's supposed to deliver. It delivers responses that you can use to accomplish that goal. So I feel confident in presenting that and offering that to you. I have scripts that outline how to create reels, which in your daily activities in your online business, you're going to have to create content. And reels are one of the, most valuable pieces of content that you can create. They're videos. They allow you to speak to your audience in a video format. Now, you can just do text format or you can do pictures. That's up to you. But I wanted to share with you these templates to allow you to actually do something that's guaranteed to do what it says it does, which is create a reel, right? So I feel confident in sharing that with you. I give you the heart and soul of the challenge, which is access to the same tool that I use practically on a daily basis to not only, you know, create something that's supposed to help you make money from home, because that's not always the end goal. The end goal is to build something that's enjoyable, that's engaging, that can inspire and motivate other people to want to do the same. Now, I don't know about you. I don't know what inspires and motivates you, but I'm not inspired about I'm not inspired by boring and mundane situations. I can't I can do it. I can engage with boring content and boring situations, but to be honest, the people that I know, the people that are in my inner circle, eh, they don't want to engage in boring stuff. And more than likely, the people that you engage with, they don't want to be engaged in boring things either. So we have an environment where we can create some excitement, that people can be inspired and people can want to show up or look forward to showing up to it on a daily basis. Not just because it's a promise of making money, but because it delivers on the ability to have something fun and engaging and something that, they can produce and have of their own. So now we've updated the document just a little bit. So of course, my favorite tool is still listed there at the top, which is Suno, which I've been making music for the last few days, and I've been doing it at a high rate just because this tool is so amazing that I have so many credits left. Even though I talk about creditless systems that give you unlimited opportunities, there are some tools out here that give you credits, but they they might as well be unlimited because it gives you so many credits that it's hard to run out of them. So Suno, the way it is right now, hopefully they never change it. This is one of those tools that give you damn near an unlimited amount of credits. Unless you're the type of person that just abuses a system. And I say abuse because I see people talking about how they use all of the 2,500 credits in a month which means that they're producing 250 songs, which is actually 500 songs because it produces 2 songs each production, and they're producing all of this music every month, like, and it be a bunch of trash. Like, how can you even construct good music at that rate, right? Some numbers are unbelievable to me. Some people say, hey, I spend so much time, I use 1,000 credits just to make one song perfect. That to me is crazy. That means that you have a problem. To me, that means you have a problem before you even start creating a song. Because me personally, I've never used more than, let's say, 100 credits to create one particular song. 9 times out of 10, my songs come out the way I want them to, from the first production, or just having to remaster it one time to get rid of whatever possible distortion sounds that happens in it, or maybe words don't come out right. But maybe 2 to 3 generations, which says a lot. I saw a post where somebody said, hey, if it doesn't come out right, or if it comes out better than uh, a real person or a real music artist, then is that a problem with the tool, or is that a problem with the person that's creating the music? And I say it's a problem with the person that's creating the music. Bullshit in gets bullshit out. And the thing about what I create is that it's based off of experience, is based off of feeding the GPT proper information so that it knows how to interpret the feeling, the vibe of what I'm going for with the music, and it produces. It's like one of those people that, like in the courtroom, they call it a stenographer. They're taking notes. They're taking notes of everything that's going on in that courtroom. They writing it down. They typing it out, and they're able to repeat whatever it is that was said at the drop of a dime. You ask it, hey, what was said at minute whatever? They would pull that up, that transcript up, and repeat it. So the AI is just a tool that's able to, in a lot of cases, perfectly interpret what it is that you give it. Maybe you giving it the wrong information, and that's a you problem, not an AI problem. So we have that Suno right there, right? And then recently we added on Producer AI, which is another music generating tool that I haven't really spent much time with. So it's only a certain amount of time in a day, right? So that's where you come in handy. Being a part of the Hustler's Secret Success System, which is part of the overall Hustleverse universe, right? It's on you as a community member to take part in the daily challenges, the daily activities, and to look at the information that we have and find where you can become an expert at. Just like in any online business. If you're part of an organization that says, hey, they promise you this, that, and the third, that you can do this, that, and the third, but they have tools available, they actually sell products and services, then it's on you as a member of that particular business to engage and use those products. Become an expert in whatever subsection of the business that you can, just like a real business. But the majority of people, they don't do that. A majority of online marketers, they just go with the flow of what they think they're supposed to be doing. They feel like they're supposed to be doing everything under the sun. they supposed to follow the script that's being laid out for them that doesn't work for 99% of the people that try to follow that script. I've said it before that online business is just like a real world offline business. Yes, you are the owner and the boss of your own online business. But just like the boss or the owner of a, let's say, restaurant, maybe you studied how to be a chef and your passion is food. So, yeah, you know what good food is supposed to taste like. But as the owner, it's your job to run the business. You might go in the kitchen and cook sometimes, but your job as the owner of the restaurant is to hire or partner with those expert chefs that can recreate the dishes that maybe you created. Maybe you have some recipes, some expert recipes that you made that you know are perfect, and this is what your restaurant is designed to produce. But your job is to find the chef or chefs that can reproduce that meal so that you can do what a boss does. Now, you might have had a course in accounting, bookkeeping, and things like that. So you know how to deal with the money. But as the boss, you might not want to have to spend all your time looking through the books, doing the accounting. Of course, you want to be as the boss, you want to know where the money is at, right? So that's a primary thing that you still want to keep your finger on the pulse of. But as a business owner, you would hire an accountant. You would have a accounting department that's in charge of that. Well, you might have spent a lot of years working in customer service, dealing with customers, taking calls. But as the owner of the business, you don't really want to be a customer service rep for the restaurant. You don't want to be the person that's answering the phone, um, taking people's orders. You might want to have someone specifically designated to answer the phone. You might say, hey, well, what is the owner actually doing? Well, the owner is making sure that things flow properly. And that's what's going on in the online world and the offline world. And a lot of times people look at situations and they miss what is really going on. They miss the fact that the owner is telling you all of these things. They're telling you that you have to do this, that, and the third. But at the same time, the owner themselves isn't doing all of those things. Yeah, they're telling you it because they know what needs to be done within the business. They're telling you, yes, you need to create content. You need to have content. You need to have somebody that can edit. You need to edit videos. You need to follow up with comments. You need to do the webinars. You need to show up on camera. You need to do all of this, but they're not giving you a proper format as to how you can successfully do it. They're telling you everything that you need to do, but you're not getting the message as to how to do it. And a lot of people online, they don't know how to build partnerships. They are taught how to people. Recruit people to do the same thing that they are doing. And that's the absolute wrong way to build a business. You don't want to recruit somebody to be stuck in the same situation as you. You don't want to recruit a person you tell them, hey, yeah, you have to do this, that 10, 20 different things because is that attractive to the majority of people? No. Most people don't want to have to do any work at all, let alone have to go from working their 9 to 5 job where they might just be the customer service person. They know that there's a whole other human resource department. There's a shipping department. There's a this, that, and the third department. that they wouldn't want to do their job. They have want to do their personal job, right? But they definitely don't want to do the job of the people in the other departments. But you're telling them that now that you're in this online space and you have your own business, you have to do all of this, that, and the third. Instead of you saying, hey, I want you to stick to what you're great at. I want to actually partner with you so that you can do what you do. And hopefully you're comfortable with that. Well, hopefully, well, actually you should have an expertise in whatever it is that you're used to doing. Whether you like it or not, you have a level of expertise in what you do. And it's a real business owner or professional's job to identify what it is that you're great at and allow you to be great at just that. But nobody teaches that. So this is what I want to change in the industry or within my particular community. I want to partner with people that are here to partner with me. I want to partner with people that want to have specific roles within our hustleverse so that there's a better chance of success for everyone. It's kind of like that business. The owner doesn't partner with the chef and the dishwasher and the person that takes calls and say, "Hey, I'm going to be the only one that get paid." No, they partner with people so that once when the money comes in one way, it gets dispersed and it gets distributed amongst everybody that participated. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong in thinking this way or feeling this way, but I feel like that's how your online business should be. I shouldn't be the only one making money in the business where the people that I supposedly partner with are struggling or they're not making any money at all. That's mm, that's something that yeah, I can't really roll with. And for the majority of people online, 99%, that's the situation that they're in. And that's because they choose to do things in a certain way. So I don't want to keep you guys too long today because we have the whole week, the whole strong to get through and then beyond that. But I want to tell you guys that I want to partner with you. I only want to partner with the people that want to partner with me. So back to what I was saying in the beginning about the changes. Sometimes it rains, pours outside, and then sometimes the sun comes out. You can choose to be outside in the rain or you can be inside. Makes me think of another saying. You can either get down or you can lay down with somebody else, right? Or it makes me think of another saying from an old school hip hop song. You can get with this or you can get with that. And I want to get with the people that want to get with this. So I'm gonna take my time and start to eliminate the people that don't want to be a part of this. And that's okay because maybe they choose to get with that instead, something else instead, which is perfectly fine. So, in my profile itself, I'm going to start weeding out the people that don't belong or that don't want to belong. And also in the private group, I'm going to start weeding out the people that don't belong or don't want to belong. And that's cool. And that's a good thing. It's a good thing for me. It's a good thing for you because you don't want to be bombarded with information that doesn't relate to you, that doesn't make you excited, that doesn't make you want to engage with it. I don't want to be just another thing that you scroll by on your feed. I'd rather you not see me at all. So in order to do that is you have to disconnect. So I'm willing to start the group all over again. I'm willing to start from zero in the private group, just like I was willing to start with a whole new profile, start from zero. Because the intention is to attract those people that want to be attracted to you and nobody else. Let's be honest. You have to have people around you that share the same goals, that want to walk the same path. And if they don't, then cool. If they have something else going on, then cool. Let them do what it is that they do. So I'm going to spend some time contacting people, seeing where their interest lies, seeing if they have a real business mind, seeing if they're willing to be part of our hustle verse. And if not, then I want to say thank you for being with us for as long as you have been. I wish you luck in everything that you do moving forward. And maybe somewhere down the line, you might want to rejoin us. You're always welcome, but just know today's prices isn't yesterday's prices, so to speak, right? So that's what I have to say for you guys today. That's what today's live is about. It's about me preparing and doing the right things in order for our universe or our community to grow in the right way. Sometimes you gotta cut the fat, as they say. You gotta get rid of the dead weight. You have to see who's with you, find out who's against you. And with that, let's transition a little bit to what we have going on tomorrow. Now, what's going on within our amazing system that we're part of is that this week is what we call launch week, where the new advancements, the new updates to our system, the websites, the AI tools, everything that we have going on, this is the perfect week, right? Because everything is being updated. So why wouldn't we want to put ourselves in the best position with the best and brightest people to get it done? So it says right here as I open up the page, the OLSP launch week, part one. It starts Tuesday. Got the wrong date there because today is Monday the 16th, but it says March the 16th, so that should be the 17th. But that's UK time, right? That's UK, so 5 hours difference or so. But this week starts the launch, and the new website and everything should go into effect by the end of this week. That means everybody gets to start from ground zero, being able to start off on a clean slate and be able to grow their business in a more streamlined way, something that hopefully produces higher and better results for everyone. And there's going to be some giveaways, as it says right here. It says live giveaways. But let me just peel back the curtain. And it says here, let me refresh the page, make sure everything is as updated as possible. So in one day, 5 hours and about 5 minutes away, that would put it at 3 p.m. EST time, right? So tomorrow they will be alive. And once again, this is launch week. And tomorrow we'll start part one. Now, as you can see the number behind me, it says 132 commissions have been paid to members in the last 24 hours. So we'll see what it looks like tomorrow and what it looks like after that. There will be some people that will be coming in that'll be new, and that'll be a great thing because you need fresh people that are willing to learn how to build a proper online business. And that's what we intend on teaching people how to do. So I hope you guys join us tomorrow live, where we'll press that promote button and we'll get a little bit more detail as to what that live training is going to be about and how you can actually take part in it. But for the people that don't want to take part, that don't want to take action, you know, that's cool. You have every right to do what it is that you want to do and every right to not do what it is that you don't want to do. And so, based on that, I will be taking the actions that I need to take in order to make sure that we here in the Hustleverse remain great. So, with that, I hope you guys have enjoyed. And I'm going to fade to the back. We're going to close out like we always do. And join me tomorrow where I will be sharing with you guys some more, things that I'm creating for you. This Hustleverse is expanding, not contracting. And it's only for the right people. Don't, you know, as they say, if you wasn't with me while I was shooting in the gym, don't try to come out from up under the hole, from up under the rock you've been hiding under. Once when everything starts cooking and everything starts getting presented and plated up, then you want to take part. Once again, I'm petty. I might let you smell and smell the food and you know make your stomach start to rumble and stuff, make you like, damn, that smells good. I can't wait to eat. Nah. At that point, you put your hand out. I'm gonna cut your hand off. Yeah. If you wasn't with it before, don't act like you with it after. Let me not get too petty. But with that, I hope you guys have enjoyed today's live. And we're gonna close out once again like we always do. And I hope you have a great rest of your day.
Woke up to silence, dreams still heavy. Phone screen dry, but my vision stays steady. Mama said, baby, that job ain't your lane. But I clocked in anyway, chasing someone else's gain. Dad got me dancing with denial at night. Scrolling for hope, but it's hidden from sight. 10 minutes a day, sounded small at first. But in silence, even whispers can quench a thirst. Notebook in hand, wrote my future in ink. Mapped out my mission before I started to sink. Every post was a prayer, every share had weight. I wasn't selling a link, I was shifting fate. I found my rhythm in the quietest place, where hustle meant healing and grind meant grace. From the corner of doubt, I carved my space. Legacy ain't loud, but it wins the race. 10 minutes a day, brick by brick, built from the bottom, now the vision stick. No hype, no cap, just clarity. This ain't just income, it's legacy. Every click, every song I create etches my name where they can't erase. You can doubt, but you gon' see. 10 minutes a day turned into legacy. People laugh, said she doing too much. To my PayPal pin, then they changed up the touch. No big brand, no six-figure crew.
A lot of people say they want to build faith. A lot of people say useless content. Until
So I built my own stage, held my own hall. Suno on deck, that's the beat in my chest. GPT spin like I'm born to impress. Said I'd never make it, cool, noted. But now my bars turn pain into coated. From broken to branded, I ain't asked for fame, I asked for freedom and I claim my name now. Hustle berry on loop like healing chance. For the girls who grew up with limited chance. This is more than a challenge, it's breaking the chain. Cause 10 minutes a day rewired my brain. 10 minutes a day, brick by brick, built from the bottom, now the vision stick. No hype, no cap, just clarity. This ain't just income, it's legacy. Every click, every song I create etches my name where they can't erase. You can doubt, but you gon' see. 10 minutes a day turned into legacy. Now my daughter sees me different, eyes full of fire. She said, Ma, your words lift me higher. This ain't a hustle, this a heart-led path, where math meets message and message meets math. Community over clicks, value over hype. I ain't here to trend, I'm here to type blueprints for the ones still stuck in fear. Let them borrow my belief till their purpose